Soros, the Secretary of State plan. Does anyone want to address that very quickly? Mona,
I'm sorry, I don't know about the Secretary of State's plan.
no? David, are you on top of the Secretary of State's plan?
No, but, I know what they've targeted Secretary of States because these are the people that count the votes. And when the votes are close, as they were in Minnesota, Norm Coleman was denied a seat and now Franklin was given one by a Soros-elected Secretary of State. And the issue here is and this is why I think the Tea Parties are so important. We haven't had a ground war. We don't have a MoveOn.org. We don't have an Acorn, or haven't had. We don't have the poll watchers that we need. We don't have people actively involved in the trench warfare against the left. And all of this, and this is something that we have to credit Obama for doing. He has presented such a horrific image of the Democratic Party. And by the way, I don't think there's a left wing of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is a left wing party. That people have finally begun to see that there is a serious fifth-column threat, and a threat from a radical party, which is out to destroy this system.
Okay.
And that's the good news.
Last question was, what should we do to support Israel? Quick answers, Mona, and then Cliff, and I'll conclude.
Well, everything, of course. Write letters to your congressmen and your senators and to your local newspaper and so on. But I think one really important step that I would love to see the whole Jewish community do is to be much more grateful and appreciative of the Christian organizations out there that are supporting Israel. Just shower them with love. Send them bouquets of flowers, show up at their churches, bring them kugel, do everything possible to say thank you, because that is Israel's safety belt.
Okay, Cliff.
In addition to what Mona just said, I would add this. There are quite a few organizations out there fighting for the things you believe in. And by the way, Newt Becker, who some of you know, he's done charts of this. He knows every one of them and what they're doing and where they're doing it and how they're doing it. They can use your money, they can use your time. What else can you give them? But right now, Soros and his friends, well, there's David Horowitz's Freedom Center, the Jewish Policy Center, the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, which I represent. These organizations are fighting for America, for Israel. They're fighting against those who are waging a war against the West. And they're fighting against a matrix of organizations funded, as you heard, by people like George Soros, MoveOn.org and Media Matters. They've got it's very
J Street.
J Street, which now that George Soros is funding as well. They have a network of organizations. It's very clever. They work together. We need the same sort of thing to defend our interests, to defend America, to defend Israel, to defend all those who are under attack. If you want to fight. There are plenty of places where you can enlist, and again, it's your time and your money most importantly.
Okay, in conclusion, certainly among those organizations that deserves and needs and encourages your support is the Jewish Policy Center. If you want to make possible other occasions like this one tonight, sign up for the JPC. They have an excellent regular publication that has articles. Each of us on this panel have contributed articles in the past. And the Jewish Policy Center is a great source of information and exchange of ideas and fine programming. It is worthy. I bet that's. I'm getting to that. Be patient. And also, we are coming up to an election. Okay? It's November 2nd. One of the bits of conventional wisdom right now, when people look at Jewish voters, is Jewish voters don't care about Israel. And unfortunately, there are too many people who don't. They need to connect. And one of the most important things, as someone just shouted out here, is actually going for a visit. What is shocking, is that 80% of American Jews have never been to Israel. one excellent opportunity to go to Israel. We haven't announced it on the air yet. We are going on our next Medved tour of Israel in May of 2011, which is a beautiful time to see wildflowers and to see the spring season and to enjoy all of the highlights of connecting with really what is one of the most happy and optimistic and positive countries on earth. That's the one thing that always impresses people when we take people to Israel for the first time, is it's not a terrorist Disneyland. It's a happy, positive, functional, modern, Western country, and one that is deeply, deeply similar in the best sense to the United States of America. And one other thing. We are in the middle of the holiday of Sukkot. You may remember the days when we were all concerned about saving Soviet Jewry. Used to be that every synagogue and every temple in Los Angeles had a sign in front of it that said, "Save Soviet Jewry." The holiday of Simchat Torah, which is coming up on this Thursday night, right, was a big holiday in the world of Soviet Jewry. People who never had any connection would come out to the Central Synagogue in Moscow, even though the KGB would be taking pictures and people would be persecuted, because it was a day of Jewish affirmation. Regardless of where you are religiously, whether you're atheist or agnostic or secular, affirm your participation in the Jewish community here. Whether it's in the Temple of the Arts right here or any of the other synagogues or organizations, there is no excuse, particularly in this dynamic Jewish community in Southern California, to try to live a Jewish life in isolation. Connect with your fellow Jews. A great time to do with it is the upcoming holiday, and a great time to do with it is any time where you can affirm that not only in Eretz Yisrael, but right here in Southern California, Am Yisrael Chai, the people Israel live and will continue to live.